With that said, I have a guest. I can't say he's my first guest from Clubhouse. I would say he's my third at this point in time. Clubhouse, if you haven't heard about it, it is an addiction. I've got two phones now because of Clubhouse and two sets of AirPods. And now I'm trying to stay off of that platform for a minute. But I have Jacob Blank here with me today. Jacob,
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
yeah, thank you for being here. So you're 18, right?
Yes, sir. I'm 18 years old.
And you did your first wholesale deal at 17.
Yep, I did my first deal at 17 years old, my first
And
wholesale deal.
and that's absolutely insane. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on here because a lot of people think, oh, I'm too young, or I'm too old, or I'm too this, or I'm too that. And you are proving all of that wrong. So, tell me what wild hair in this crazy world made you decide that you actually wanted to wholesale and get into real estate at such a young age when most kids are playing Xbox and PlayStation and worried about the college you're going to?
Yeah, so my father's been in real estate since 2004. For the majority of his career originally, he was just doing traditional real estate listings and whatnot. And then he was for like the past 6, 7 years doing fix and flips, maybe doing like five to seven fix and flips a year. And making a good living doing that. And I wanted to, get involved, and I was involved. He always brought me around since I was 12 to like move rock, paint walls, and pay me like $20 to help him out on the weekends at his flips. And so, sorry, my phone. So I helped him out, and I was starting to learn, what type of construction stuff it took, and learning about construction by being at the flips on the weekends as a kid. And then when I turned 16, he wanted me to partner with him on a flip, and I put $5,000 in on the deal with him. And he said, hey, let me teach you it from start to finish, all the paperwork and all that. Just do everything with me, be with me every day at the flip and learn the whole thing, and you'll double your money. So I put $5,000 in on the flip. Keep in mind that is all the money I had. I had no other money. I was always a saver. I never bought stupid things growing up, and I always saved my birthday money. And I put all my money in on this flip, and I trusted that, this deal was going to turn out all right, and I was going to double my money. So boom, it took like 5, 6 months to do the flip, which, was pretty long. We weren't doing them as quick as a lot of people do. And so once that flip was finished, I realized, oh my gosh, I saw on Instagram and stuff, these young guys in wholesaling real estate driving these nice cars, doing a bunch of deals every month. And they're saying, they're doing 5 deals every month for, tens of thousands of dollars. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we could have done, 5 wholesale deals in the amount of time it took us to do that flip and tripled our money. And that's where I got hooked on it. And I did all the research possible. And that's where I started chasing after my first deal. That's really how I found it and decided to go for it.
So let's talk about that first deal then. You start chasing out that first deal. Like what were some of the things you were doing to try to make that happen?
Yeah. So step one, before I take any money and invest it in anything, and I'm sure most people feel this way, you fully need to understand the concept of whatever it is going to be, right? If you're going to go trade stocks, if you're going to go get into crypto, why would you just put your money in there if you don't understand how the market works, right? So
Mhm.
same thing, wholesaling real estate. Before I spent a penny on anything, I was staying up till 3 a.m. every night, filling out a notebook, watching hundreds on hundreds of YouTube videos, learning everything possible. Now, obviously, I was getting some information that contradicted each other and information that didn't work, and some did, but that was the whole thing. I needed to collect all the information that I could and then try out what worked. So once I felt like I had, enough knowledge to really go for it and, be able to get on the phone with these sellers and not just sound 6 years old, which I sounded 6 years old because I was still 16 when I was making my first phone calls to homeowners trying to get a wholesale deal. And so I did all the research. And then the first step was I bought data, I got a dialer, and I called on that dialer for 5 hours every day for 2 months straight. And that was the first step.
Okay.
The
So
next step,
how long did it take you to get there? Go ahead. No,
it took me 8 months to get my first deal. The
okay.
very next step I took was I hired 2 cold callers, and I decided to hire those 2 cold callers because I was getting a handful of reasonable sellers that might be a deal just calling myself, but I realized it just was not enough. And now I had, all these leads that were interested in selling, and I still needed to produce more leads, and I had no time to follow up with the interested people. So
Mm.
I realized I needed people getting me the new leads. So I hired these 2 cold callers. Now I was just focusing on following up with the leads and trying to close the deals. So then I kept doing that for like 3 more months. And I finally got someone that was really reasonable and interested in selling. I went out to their property and I got them to sign the contract. Now, this is the sad part of my journey where I felt like giving up. I walked a buyer through the property and he noticed a bunch of foundation issues, right? Like around the trees, they had bricks around the trees on the ground. And when you see the bricks like this and cracking, you know it's probably not just roots. Because then you go look over to the sidewalk going to the front door and it's doing the same thing. And then in the garage, a big crack. So then when I brought up this foundation problem to the seller, they actually let me know that they were trying to play me and told me they already got a bid for a $17,000 repair job for the foundation. This unknown repair cost completely killed the deal. And so I canceled. Thinking back, I probably could have walked more buyers through it and I would have found someone to buy the deal. But I canceled. I felt completely broken and felt like giving up. But I didn't give up. I kept calling till I found another motivated seller that was really reasonable, went to their house, got the property under contract for 430, sold it to, I don't know if you know him, Zachary Keeps. He owns like 200 rentals here in Phoenix, Arizona. Made a $30,000 assignment fee on that deal. And it was a really smooth process from there. But it took me 8 long, hard months. And if I didn't stay focused, I would have never made that $30,000. And I can say today that that $30,000 check completely changed my life.
Well, it would change your life even been at a $5,000 check, right? Because it was
Yeah.
proof of concept. So,
Yep.
and that's cool. And it's cool that it didn't happen for you right out of the gate. I think I've said this several times in the last couple of days in interviews I've either done or been on or done myself, where people who come out of the gate and they just knock it out of the park on the first deal, that's usually a bad thing because they think
Yeah.
it's going to be easy, and it's not always easy, right? Sometimes it feels like you're walking through sludge or pushing a rock uphill. So, but you stuck to it and you got your proof of concept. So where did it go from there?
Yeah, so I also wanted to add this too. When I was doing the research, I was also before, because I said I wouldn't spend any money, obviously, till I had a full understanding. I printed out 1,000 flyers. I printed out, and then I pulled a list of all the lates and pre foreclosures from the MLS. And I was driving around town with my friends, knocking on doors, taping flyers to the doors, and got nothing from that. So, I was really going at it in all avenues, like literally driving around town in Arizona heat, running around neighborhoods and just doing it all. But where did it go from there? So currently my business, we're sitting at 30 cold callers. We're doing 5 to 10 deals every month and consistently hitting 6-figure months. I have 6 acquisition managers. I have an admin, and then I have 2 virtual assistants as well to help with all this other stuff that we do. So, the business has really scaled in the matter of what it's going on. It's only been like 2 years, and it's just crazy that from your first deal in such a short amount of time, you can become really, really successful. And that's what's so amazing about this business, that it gives you enough money in order to do other things as well. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. So what are your strategies right now? Like what are you doing right now in today's market to get deals?
cold calling. We do cold calling and a little bit of SMS. We do want to dive into other marketing strategies. We have dived into PPC and direct mail. We haven't seen the greatest results. We do plan on sending another direct mail campaign here in the near future. But ultimately, my beliefs come to that cold calling is rudimentary, right? You're just calling people and someone's on the other end of that phone. It can't get much, the concept can't get much easier than just calling people. And so that's what we try to focus on. It's really cost effective compared to a lot of other things, a lot of other marketing strategies. So really what's working for us is cold calling. The thing is though, if you really want to get to 6 figures, you're going to start to realize how many cold callers it really takes to stay
Right.
consistent, right? 10 cold callers might get you 6 figures 1 out of 10 months. But if you want to do 6 figures every month, you might need 20 more, you know? So that's the thing.
Or expand your markets,
Yeah.
as well, because there's that law of diminishing returns in any market. You can only go through so much data.
Yep.
Very cool. So what's your long-term goal? Where do you go from here?
Yeah. Where do I go from here? So other than this, for this business, my long-term goal is, I want to do, we're doing about 7 figures right now, and I want to turn that into, multi-million dollar company as far as that. I also want to bring in $1 million a year in flip profit. Last year we did about 7 flips. This year we're trying to up that to 12. And we're pretty much on track for that right now. We just had a flip close yesterday and made $96,000 profit on it. Super amazing way to start off the new year. We close on our new flip in June. So I want to do $1 million in revenue on flip profit. I want to do multi-million dollars in wholesale. And then the final thing is I'm trying to build my personal brand, reach more people, impact more lives, grow on my YouTube channel and whatnot and so forth. So that way I can reach more people and get more young people into this business. Because I know nowadays, with school being all messed up because of COVID and all that, in this day and age, you don't got to go to college, and I feel like most kids don't want to because they're exposed to the social media their whole life growing up,
Mm.
and they see the possibilities. And then they're held down by, their family possibly, that they need to go and do the generic thing and go through college. But, it's truly possible to go down another avenue. And that's really what I want to show people.
Very cool. What advice would you give somebody just starting out?
What advice would I give somebody just starting out? So people always ask me, how do I start? And it's
Mm.
obvious, they don't have any knowledge yet. And so they're not going to be able to understand what I tell them, otherwise I'd have to get on the phone with them for, 24-hour phone call to explain the game. So they need to get an understanding of the business, a full rounded understanding of the business, just like I did. They need to get on YouTube, watch everything they can. And then I guarantee the next time they message me, they will have 10 really important questions that I can answer that will directly help them. So step one, if you're trying to figure out how to start, learn everything you can, because right now there is more free knowledge out there than ever before. And it starts with having an understanding of the business. That's what I would say.
Yeah, wise, definitely wise words for a young guy. So let's see here. What markets are you in? You're just doing Arizona right now, right?
No,
Phoenix?
we actually, let's see, I like end of December, we went into Texas. That has done pretty well. We've gotten like 8 deals in Texas. So we've been doing Texas, Arizona, and then we just started Cali yesterday because we wanted to go into a market that had bigger spreads. So hopefully we could lock up some bigger deals. And so, yeah, we plan on going into some other markets too, mainly for the reason that number one, Arizona is really competitive, but you can still be very successful in Arizona. So I don't want people to be freaking out about how to pick their market because you really just got to start. But it was competitive here, so we wanted to have something else as well. And we want to go for bigger spreads, and we want to maximize our call time. So we want to call East Coast and West Coast times. So that way we can maximize our time.
So tell me this, what does your team look like?
Yeah, so we got 6 acquisition guys. 4 of them are new. 2 of them have been with us for about a year, and the 2 guys are crushing it. The 4 guys are ramping up. A couple of them just got their first deal like last week, and another one just got 2 deals this week. He's on fire. So we're trying to build up our team. That way I can get off the phones. I'm still in the trenches. I'm still closing deals. I need to make sure that these guys are 80% of me so that way they can get as many deals that I'm getting. And but it all comes from proof that your boss is doing it, right? You got to show them, you got to lead by example. So 6 acquisition guys. We have an admin that helps us with transaction coordination and dispo. And then we have 2 virtual assistants that help with like emails and like SEO. We do a bunch of search engine optimization ourselves to try to rank on Google. And they do, just basically every tedious task possible, pulling data. And then we got those 30 cold callers. And that's really what our organization looks like. Other than that, I have a videographer that films me and helps me out with the social media stuff.
So the 30 cold callers, they all Filipino based, Central America
Half of
based?
them are Filipino based, and then half of them are Mexico. Half of them I get at thecallgenius.com, and then the rest, my father owns a condo in Mexico, and we go there a lot to Rocky Point, Mexico. So we met people there, and we used to have all the agents in a call center there in an office, but we sent them home because of COVID, which is actually working out better. So we have one of those virtual assistants. She's the manager of all them, and we pay her double what they get, and she manages all of them.
Okay.
So that's what we do: half Philippines, half Mexico.
Got it. Okay, perfect. And then I'm assuming you're partnering with somebody.
My
Okay.
dad is my partner.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Very cool. That's a great situation to be in, isn't it?
Yeah, super
Yeah.
exciting, Not many people get to work with their dad, so it's been a
Right.
blessing. And, I've been able to push him to strive for things that, he necessarily wasn't doing. He was just, making six figures a year and sitting back. And I wanted to, push it to seven figures because I'm young, and, the dude's happier than he's ever been. So
Yeah.
working with me. So it's been a blessing.
That's fantastic. All right, man. So tell everybody how to get a hold of you. They want to find you.
Yeah, you can get a hold of me on Instagram at Jacob Blank _, YouTube Jacob Blank. I'm on Facebook, Millennial Motivate on Facebook. I actually do a podcast like this. It hasn't been around for as long, but if you want to get the insight from a young guy in this business, it's a good watch. I'm on TikTok as well. And that's pretty much it. Reach out to me on there and learn from me, because I post every single day a bunch of stuff for you to learn for free, for completely free, to help you change your life with real estate just like I have.
Very cool. So 30K at 17 years old, doing big things at 18. Jacob, I hope we remain friends for a long time. I think you're going to be doing some great things, and I want to watch your success. So if you're getting value from this show, make sure you're liking, sharing, subscribing, telling us what you think, sending me emails, all that kind of stuff. I think this one has tremendous value. Make sure you're sharing it out.